Ahoy there, and welcome to Nautical Tales and Nature Trails, recreation in southeastern Connecticut and southern Rhode Island. I'm your host, Will Morrissey. I'm here with my wife, Bridget Morrissey, who's producing the show. She's in the behind the cameras. But we're here to tell you all about all the different things that are going on in the area. Bridget races up and down the coastline from Old Lyme to Charlestown. She's zigzagging from Mystic to Mashantucket up to Uncasville. She's showing a lot of people moving into the area where to find their dream home. And she comes across a lot of attractions that are in the area, whether it's a golf course or the casinos or libraries or museums, all kinds of different things that all the people moving into the area really want to know about. Whether it's the people building submarines, the brave souls driving the submarines. We've got students coming into UConn at Avery Point, Mitchell College, Connecticut College. We've got all the cadets at the United States Coast Guard Academy, plus all the visitors that are coming into the area, as Mystic was recognized as one of the top 5 travel destinations in 2023. So there's a lot of things going on in the area, and we'd like to let you know about it. We have a book that has a lot about it, and that's why we're doing this show. And today, we've got somebody from the Denison Pequotsepos Nature Center. We got Kim Hargrave, the Director of Education, with us. Kim, welcome.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here today.
Kim, you're going to tell us a little bit about how you got involved with the Nature Center.
So excellent. I've been at the Nature Center for over 20 years. I started there in the late 90s. I really wanted to get into environmental education, teaching people about our local environment, and the Nature Center is the best place to do that. And right now we see over 60,000 people every year through our programs and things like that. And so we are always really excited to welcome people to the Nature Center.
Oh, that's great, 20 years.
Yeah.
That's a lot. You've made a lot of friends up there that way, huh?
Yes, lots of friends.
Whether they're walking on 2 legs or 4 legs?
Yes, that's right. Lots of friends and met lots of animals through the years and done lots of tours and things like that.
Well, you say you have lots of animals. You said you had a couple to show us. You've got this guy, but he's kind of stationary.
Yes, this guy's stationary. One of the things we do have a lot at the Nature Center is taxidermied animals, and they can be a great way to get up close to an animal that you really can't in the wild see that close. And people always ask us how we get these things, and there's 2 ways that we get all of our taxidermied animals. One is by donation, so people find these things in their attics, they're cleaning out, they have it, they don't know what to do with it, and they give it to us, and then it gets a really good use with education and things like that. The other way is that unfortunately some animals are hit by cars and things like that, and so people will bring us that animal, we bring it to a taxidermist, and they will stuff it for us. And so this is a beautiful example of the red fox that we have here in Connecticut. Red foxes are the most common fox we have here. We have 2 foxes, the red fox and the gray fox, but mostly around our houses we see this guy right here. And if you see one, you want them. They're going to eat your mice and things like that.
Well, I understand this guy won an election today.
He definitely did. So the Nature Center does tons of programs. On Thursdays, we have a full day program with homeschool students from the area. And so I was getting ready to come in today, and I said, well, should I bring the fox or I should bring the otter? And they voted for the fox.
Well, the fox wins.
Yep. So
how about ones that can walk or fly?
And yes, I have 2 other animals with me today. I'm going to reach down here and pick up this guy right here.
Oh.
And this one is the eastern box turtle right here. So box turtles are actually a species of special concern here in Connecticut. They're one of our few turtles that spends the majority of their life on land. So if you look at their feet, they have very, very little webbing because they don't want to be in the water. And we tend to see them in our forested areas here in Connecticut. So if you are up near like Patchogue State Forest, you want to go on a big adventure deep in the woods, that's where you see these guys. Unfortunately, right here along the coast in the Mystic, Stonington, Groton area, we don't see them as much anymore. But you can always identify a box turtle because they've got this domed shell right here. And then they have this amazing adaptation. So if you look right here, they actually have a hinge on their shell. So this part of the shell can close up just like a box. And so they're completely protected from predators like foxes.
That's pretty colorful, too.
Yeah, they have beautiful colors. This guy's name is Sunny. And he's named Sunny because if you look carefully, you can see the little sunburst patterns on the back of his shell. So right now, out in the wild, though, box turtles are brumating, which is the fancy word for how a reptile hibernates. And so he is under the ground right now waiting for spring. They usually won't get up until about April or so. And when they're there, they like to eat, when they're up and about, they eat insects, slugs, and other invertebrates.
This guy looks like he's been having a good time. He's been waving at all the viewers.
Viewers, yes, he is. He's like, I can go for a little adventure here. All right, I can put him down. And then I brought one other friend from the Nature Center. So what happens is all of our animals at the Nature Center have a story. There's a reason why they live here. And a lot of our animals are what we consider non-releasable wildlife. So box turtles are something that if they come into the Nature Center, they can't be released back out into the wild because they tend to wander far distances and get hit by cars. So if a turtle's been a pet for many years, unfortunately they have to stay in captivity. This next animal I'm going to show you is actually the eastern screech owl. And the Nature Center does a lot of rehabilitation work with birds of prey. And this particular screech owl here, unfortunately was hit by a car, and his wing was damaged when he was very young. So he actually still had his downy feathers. And so I'm going to get him out for us.
Put your special glove on.
I've got to put my special glove on because even though this bird is not particularly large, he does have sharp talons. Well, you want to work? No, you don't want to work today. Sometimes they want to work, sometimes they don't. There we go.
Look at that.
All right. So this is Willow. Willow is an eastern screech owl, just like I said. Oh, what are you doing? There you go.
Showing off.
All right, showing off those feathers right there. So unfortunately, Willow, after he was hit, his eye was injured, and so he has trouble seeing well. And if you can't see well as an owl, that can be a problem for hunting and things like that. So he will spend his life with us. He is 3 years old, so and most of the birds at the Nature Center, I'm not going to ever be able to say how old they are, but Willow I can, just because he came in with still those baby feathers. He was probably a little overly ambitious as a fledgling and tried to cross a road and was hit by a car there. So the Nature Center right now has over 20 non-releasable birds of prey. So you can come to the Nature Center, you can see Willow, or you can see a lot of his relatives. So we have great horned owls and barred owls right now. We also have many different hawk species. We have red-tailed hawks, broad-winged hawks, red-shouldered hawks, and falcons. So we have a peregrine falcon and a kestrel also at the Nature Center right now, in addition to lots of turtles. I decided not to bring any snakes today, but snakes as well, frogs and things like that.
Well, Willow seems to know where the camera is. It kept staring at the camera.
Staring at the camera, doesn't it?
Saying hello to everybody.
Buddy. All right, do you want to go back, Willow? Willow back right into his carrier.
Well, you've got all kinds of other programs
yes.
going on, and I think we have a video to show of exactly what happens at Denison Pequotsepos Nature Center. Let's roll the video.
So when you look at our video here, one of the first things we say is that we have 2 locations, one great place, and that's because the Nature Center is on a piece of property that's actually owned by the Denison Homestead, which is an awesome homestead across the street from us, and we have a long-term lease agreement with them. They really wanted to have a Nature Center there, and then there's 2. Then we also have another piece of property that's attached called Coogan Farm that the Nature Center bought 10 years ago. And we do programs on all of these different places. And if you go to our website, you can pull up one of our calendars and you can see all the different things coming up. So like last weekend, I was out doing a duck walk and going around all different places along the coast looking for different kinds of ducks, and we have more of those things kind of coming up. I'm really excited about a particular hike that we have coming up. We actually work very closely with a lot of our local land trusts. I know you've had Avalonia on and GOSA on, the Groton Open Space Association, and we'll go and lead hikes on a lot of their properties. And so Avery Farm is one of my personal favorites. I used to live really close to it, so I know it well. This one's one of your own,
isn't it?
Yeah, this one's
Forest Loop?
Yeah, the Forest Loop is right at the Nature Center. The Nature Center itself has 10 miles worth of trails, so if you like to hike, you can always come right to the Nature Center. And even when the Nature Center is closed, you can come hiking. We're open dawn to dusk for hikes on the trails.
Well, you could tell us some of Willow's friends, huh?
Yes, absolutely. We do a lot of public programming for children. So every day the kids have off of school. So whether it's during summer camp or it's a vacation day like Martin Luther King Day coming up, we have a fun 2-hour program for kids to attend. In addition, we have all of our early childhood programs. And so while we have in our preschool, we also do programs for kids who are younger. Basically from birth on up, we have programs. So Chickadees is a program that is a child and a caregiver come and they do different types of activities together, and then they can graduate on up to our Eager Explorers class once they're 2.5 years old and want to be on their own a little bit. So lots and lots of early childhood programs. We have tons of homeschool programming, like the one that decided that the fox should come to the Nature Center. We also do fun like nature night out programs. So like it's a 3-hour program in the evening. The kids get to go do that. I'm very excited about heading out to Groton Long Point here. We're going to do some looking for ducks along the coast. Winter is the time to look for ducks, so we're going to be checking all those out and things. So
here's your mascot.
There is our mascot. So the mascot of the Nature Center is a great horned owl. We actually have an owl prowl coming up in another week or so. And so these types of programs we're doing all year long. A lot of them are seasonal, so owl prowls tend to be winter, ducks tend to be winter, but then other programs are year round. So like our homeschool program, Environmental Afternoons, this is our Tuesday homeschool program, meets all school year.
This looks like for older children than
Well,
what
ages,
you were talking
yeah,
about.
so this is for kids 4 to 13. So we really have something for all age groups, including adults. You're seeing a lot of waterfowl right now, and that's because, believe it or not, the ducks come to Connecticut for the winter. This is like the winter hotspot for ducks.
Not just July and August.
Not just
for
July.
Visitors, huh?
Yep. Yeah. July and August, the ducks go back to Canada. So in addition to all those public type programming that we do, we also go into a lot of the schools. So we work with Groton Public Schools, we work with Stonington Public Schools, North Stonington, Waterford, the Regional Multicultural Magnet School. All of these places we go and we're doing programs with them. This is just a great picture talking a little bit about our rehabilitation that we do. So if you have a question about an injured animal, an animal you think is orphaned, you can just give us a call and we're going to do the best we can to try to take care of that animal. Sometimes it might be going out to another rehabilitator who specializes in something. We also have an amazing giving garden at the Nature Center. So when we purchased Coogan Farm, we really wanted to keep the farm in Coogan Farm, and the way we did that was by partnering with the United Way. And so with our partnership with the United Way, we have a regenerative garden. So we teach people how to farm in a way that restores the soil at the Nature Center. And so we teach classes about healthy gardening and teach people about healthy food, because we kind of believe in this healthy people, healthy planet. And all of the food that we grow is actually donated to the Gemma Moran Food Center, which is based in New London, and they have this awesome thing called the Mobile Food Pantry. And they realize that for someone who's food insecure, it can actually be hard to get to a food pantry. So what they do is they load up the Mobile Food Pantry and they go to the different communities. And so they hit every single community in southeastern Connecticut, and our produce is part of that. And so we're growing, very healthy, nutritionally valuable food that can go out to people who may not have access to that. So the Giving Garden has donated over 100,000 pounds of produce to date.
Wow.
So it's a lot of food that has been donated, and it's everything from carrots to onions to potatoes to strawberries. So it's a great thing.
So when do you start that garden?
So the garden actually they'll start with the seedlings and things like that in March. We're always looking for volunteers. And so this is a great place to kind of start your volunteering, is by helping in the Giving Garden. In addition to just volunteering by yourself, a lot of different companies in the area will do volunteer days here. So whether it's Pfizer or Electric Boat, Aquarion Water Company, they do come in and they'll either help in the garden. Aquarion just actually built a bridge for us on our Nature Center trails. We have groups that'll come in and do trail maintenance. So they're, clipping all those things, those little prickers that get in your way when you're hiking on our different trails. So, and then in addition to that, we also have a lot of volunteers with our animal care department. And so they're ones that people get to come in and they get to help take care of the box turtles or the screech owls or all of those things.
Wow, you've got quite a few different opportunities for people to
Yes.
To share. different programs, and I think we have a video that we'd like to show on that.
Yeah.
All the different volunteer opportunities at the Nature Center. Well, let's run that.
So one of the things we love people to be is a member of the Nature Center. So we are a member-supported organization. We are not funded by the town or the state or the federal government or anything like that. We are an independent nonprofit. And so becoming a member really shows your support for environmental education and all the different types of things that we do. And there's lots of ways that you can help support that. So you see right here, we've got a fund that goes to help the Giving Garden, and that helps to provide that food for people. We have wonderful community partners, so a lot of different businesses actually help support the Nature Center in many different ways. So nice picture of Aquarion there helping us out. We also have our Wise Owls group, and these are planned giving things, opportunities that people might, think about how they're going to help donate to the Nature Center in the future. You can also adopt an animal. This is always popular at the holiday time. A lot of people have a lot of stuff in their lives, but you still want to show that you care about somebody, and so people will adopt an animal in their name. We also have our wish lists, and this is when we need certain items. We need new wheelbarrows, or we need new traveling cases for our animals. You can usually find things like that on our wish list, or new nets to take kids frog catching and stuff like that. So lots of different ways to help support the Nature Center.
Oh, that's great. That's great to hear. You were talking about some of the different programs you have, and you were looking forward to the van ride through Groton Long Point.
Yes.
Your eyes really lit up when you talked about owl prowl. What's that going to be all about?
So our owl prowl is you go out in the evening and you literally look and listen for owls. So what happens is great horned owls actually start nesting in January. And so it's a really good time of year for us to start to see if we can find owls in our particular area. And so we happen to know right now at the Nature Center, we have a pair of great horned owls that are hanging out because they keep on visiting our resident great horned owls and causing a little bit of trouble. These new great horned owls to the Nature Center don't like that Mr. Bill and Sam live there already, and so they're constantly hooting at them, trying to get them to move on. So we're hoping that when we do our owl prowls, we'll get to see our wild owls that live in the area. So great horned owls, again, they're very vocal this time of year, so it's a good time of year to see them. And then later on in the season, usually in March or so, our barred owls start calling. By April, the screech owls start calling. And so we have about this 3 to 4 month time period that's really good, a really good time of year to look for owls.
Now, are all these prowls, are they on the property?
We tend to do the great majority of them at the Nature Center property. And that way, in addition to going out looking for our wild owls that we know we have on property, we can also get out some of our resident owls for people to see, so they can actually take a look at our great horned owls and our screech owls and things like that. So we'll get a bird out, just like we did with Willow earlier. We'll get a bird out and put them on gloves so you can get a nice close-up look.
Now, you mentioned there's 2 locations.
Yep.
But aren't they joined?
They are. So what the Nature Center has is what we call a greenway. And so the Nature Center itself is on property that is owned by the Denison Homestead. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a long-term lease that we have with them. And then the property across the street is owned by the homestead still. We don't have a lease on that property, but what we do is we manage the trails as one unit. So you can walk from our side of the road over to the homestead, and then the Coogan Farm property connects to that. And so it's all one organization. And then in addition to that, there is Avalonia Land Conservancy property that is adjacent to it as well. So we're looking at close to 400 acres that form this greenway. In addition to that, the Nature Center manages some properties, and what happens is if you go across the street from Coogan Farm, you hit the Mystic River, and you just take your paddleboard or your kayak across the river, and you hit the Peace Sanctuary property, which the Nature Center also manages on River Road.
Now, is this next to where the farmer's market is, or is that parcel part of it?
So yeah, so where the farmer's market is, the Denison Homestead hosts a farmer's market during the summer, which is awesome. And that property is part of what we manage, but that property we don't lease from the homestead.
Okay, so is that part of the trail?
Yep, part of the trail,
okay.
absolutely.
Well,
So
just so people have an idea of
yes,
where they're, because I drive by there all the time, but I'm not
yep.
quite sure how do you get to
How do you get to?
Coogan Garden there.
Yeah, so if you, the best way to get to the Coogan Farm without hiking is to go onto Greenmanville Avenue, and you'll see our property is right there on Greenmanville Avenue. We've got a big parking lot. We have buildings there that hold some of our classroom spaces, and so we have like a program called Neighbors in Nature. It's a partnership program with Precious Memories, which is a local daycare center, and we run their after-school program there. And so the kids come from one of our local schools. They get off the bus every day after school and come hang out, and they get to go hiking and play in the woods till their parents can get off work, and they get to be outside in nature. And so it's a really great program.
Wow. You mentioned that you go to a lot of different schools and make
Yes.
these presentations. I mean, is it local schools or are you?
So pretty much southeastern Connecticut. So we go, as far up as New London. We go down to New London and Wyndham. So we go up that far. We go down to Old Saybrook, places like that. So basically southeastern Connecticut is where we spend most of our time, but we do go to occasionally to other places as well. We do a lot of programs actually out on Fisher's Island during the summertime, and we visit lots and lots of libraries. So if you are looking for a Nature Center program, February 3rd happens to be Take Your Child to the Library Day. We're going to be in 4 different libraries on February 3rd.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Well, you've mentioned all these hiking things, but
Yep.
Some people don't like hiking in the rain.
Yeah.
Tell us a little about the Nature Center itself.
So yeah, definitely come to the Nature Center. So we have a great museum there that has many different habitat exhibits. And so if you come into the Nature Center, you start upstairs. We are talking a little bit about the biodiversity of our region. One of the things that I love about our Nature Center is we are hyper local. So we're always talking about things that are right here in southeastern Connecticut. So you start by talking about our forest habitats there, and then you go down our stairs, which surrounds like this really cool red maple tree exhibit, talking about the animals that live in our red maple swamps. And you come downstairs and we have more live turtles that you can meet, spotted turtles, snapping turtles, painted turtles, musk turtles. And from there you walk into what we call our meadow exhibit. And in our meadow exhibit, we're talking about animals that you find in our open fields in the area. A highlight of the Nature Center is our Night in the Meadow room, and it talks about nocturnal animals. And you go in there and it's fairly dark, and then different animals light up and you hear their sounds. So from frogs to owls and crickets and toads and things like that.
Wow, that's great. We talked to Dennis Main from Avalonia Land Conservancy a few weeks back, and you mentioned Groton Open Space Association. We've had Jane Smith on and talking about it. How do you form these partnerships and,
So, one of the things about the Nature Center is the Nature Center has been around since 1946. That's when it first, first started at the Denison Homestead with the Mystic Garden Club. The Mystic Garden Club was concerned with development after World War II. And they wanted to make sure that land was preserved and that people knew about their local environment. And so we've been around for so long that, we've been always kind of a lot of the same people who are interested in what the Nature Center does from an environmental education perspective are also very concerned in preserving and protecting our local properties and things like that. And so one of the ways that we can help, the Nature Center can help, is by taking people out on these properties. Not everybody is comfortable going for a hike the first time in a new place by themselves. And so if they come with one of the leaders from the Nature Center, they get out there, they see the property, and then they're like, oh, we can do that on our own, no problem. And gets more and more people appreciating and caring about all the amazing properties that we have here in southeastern Connecticut.
Well, a big part of putting the book together last year was going to Earth Day over at the Groton Public Library.
Oh, yes.
And there were so many different groups there that we ended up putting in the book, wrote about in the book. That's a big event that'll be coming up. Do you have major events other than what you do right at the center, or working with other groups?
So we definitely work with other groups. We In New London, they do a Riverside Park Day, and so we're out there. And we are always like visiting different events. Out in Niantic, they do a big everyday Earth Day event, and so we're always there at McCook's and places like that. So we definitely try to work with as many organizations as we can. And then we also have a lot of events that we do at the Nature Center.
Have you got any big ones coming up soon?
So winter tends to be a quieter time, but we are looking forward to a really fun trail run in June on Connecticut Trails Day. And then highlights for the year tend to be the Mushroom Festival. That is a huge event.
I saw signs all over the place
Yes,
for that.
yep. So we do a lot with the Mushroom Festival. We talk about our local mushroom species. And then we also have a lot of different mushroom dishes that you can taste and things like that, getting people really excited about something that's local. We also do kind of a fun spooky nature trail. And so that's at Halloween time, we do that spooky nature trail. And then in the winter time, we do a beautiful luminaria walk. And that just gets a lot of different people excited about the Nature Center and to see it in a different way.
Well, I like looking at your website and seeing, all the different things that were coming up, so, and it was an easy way to see that you have programs for the 2 to 4 year olds, and then 4 to 12, and then you saw the adults working in the garden and everything. And you get a little bit of something for everybody.
That is kind of our goal is, there's something for all age groups to do. We do a lot of family programming as well, and things like that. So like during the summer, we'll be down at Bluff Point doing seining programs with the family, things like that. We try to make sure that some of our hikes are adult-oriented and some are more family-oriented. So we definitely try to hit everybody. And then during the summertime, we have a very large summer camp program as well. So lots of kids are coming to the Nature Center for our summer camp program. And I know it seems like it's far away, but camp signups actually will be starting in the middle of this month. So.
Well, you're looking for volunteers. We only have a minute left here. Can you tell the people about going online and how to volunteer?
So if you are interested in volunteering at the Nature Center, you can go right to our website and click on volunteers, and there's a form right there that you can fill out. If you have any issues with that, though, you just give us a call at the Nature Center, and we will we'll hook you up with our volunteer coordinator. And whether you're interested in helping with our education programs, our animal programs, helping in the garden, or trying to get your organization to volunteer at the Nature Center, we can set that up for you.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much, Kim, for being here. That wraps us up here for today's episode. Have a great day, everybody.